Hi, Clutter Fairy fans. Welcome to the Clutter Fairy Weekly for March 2nd, 2021. I'm your host, Gayle Goddard, a professional organizer and owner of the Clutter Fairy in Houston, Texas. The Clutter Fairy Weekly is our webcast and podcast where we offer strategies and tips about all things organizing, and we hope that you enjoy them. We get all of our suggestions for topics from you guys and all the comments and things you make from social media channels, so we appreciate that you do that for us. If you're joining us in the Zoom meeting for the first time, you can share your comments and questions via the chat. And my friend Karen Baker, hi Karen, will share them with me and I'll try to do my best to address them. We're streaming the webcast live on Facebook, so you can also share your questions and suggestions there and she'll relay them to me. During the live webcast every Tuesday, you can also talk to us directly by calling 669-900-6833. and use the meeting ID 993-419-863 and the password clutter to join the meeting. As you can tell, Ed is not with us today, and I needed to say that Ed's mother passed away yesterday. I knew his mother, and Jean was a lovely woman, and she was 89, I believe. And so she had a long life, and Ed has 5 siblings. He's one of 6. So there's lots of family to be with her husband, dad, and be kind to them and support each other while they deal with this loss. That's why Karen is here to help. She's subbing in today, and hopefully we will get through this without too much flub up. Send your thoughts and prayers out to Ed and his family, if you wouldn't mind. For Jean Gumnick. Okay, so today we're going to talk about clutter hacks, tiny tricks that can make a big difference. I have done this program before, but it's been many years, and I thought it would be a good time to recirculate this one because 5-minute hacks are a good way to get started if you're feeling really stuck. But first, I want to go to the last week's Tittle. We asked you to do a step in your tax preparations, depending on where you already were in the project. So if you've done nothing, then start gathering your paper. If you've got the paper, then start sorting those papers. If you're all sorted, then start the calculation. So I wondered if anybody was able to focus on their paper or deal with any of their taxes and what you did instead of this Tittle if you didn't have a tax project happening. So if anybody has any comments to throw in about that now or later, please feel free. I know that tax preparation is something that annoys people. So Jane says, my taxes are done. I keep a folder for each year and put things in the folder as documents come in. That makes it easier than looking for it later. So Agatha says, I cleared the table space area, so now I'm ready to start. Step 1, clear the table area. April says, I hadn't started my taxes, so I'm really happy that I finished the federal. Yay, our state has us pay use tax, so that slows me down a little, right? Okay, so it sounds like the best first step was she cleared the table to get ready to start. and the most extensive solution was that they got it all done and we're ready to go. So that's awesome. Yay, you guys. So I hope that this is a good exercise for you. It's always a fun thing to do. Taxes, not, but we all have to do them. So there you go. All right, so we're going to talk about the main topic now, our clutter hacks. And there are 2 parts to any organizing job. First, cleaning up the existing mess, of course, and the backlog, the stuffed rooms, and the drawers in the closets. The other part of the job is to staunch the bleeding. And I always have to look that up. It is staunch. You have to stop adding to the backlog with the current stuff. And this is the maintenance part of the job. And it's a permanent change for you if you don't want to build up a new pile after you've cleared out the old pile. The good part about maintenance is it can be handled in little bite-sized pieces. So you never have to spend hours and hours at it again once your backlog is complete. So we've come up with a list of 5-minute tricks to help you stem the tide of incoming clutter and so keep your surroundings in check. The first one is 5 minutes to handle the mail. We've talked about mail on this channel a million times, right? Mail comes every day. It comes 6 days a week. By the end of the week, You've received somewhere between 60 and 200 pieces of mail, and most of it is garbage. If you wait 1 week to deal with the mail, the pile is huge. So don't wait. Process the mail every day or every other day. 10 pieces of mail will take 5 minutes to handle. And if you do it every day, you stand over the trash and the recycle bins and throw out the trash and recycling. You can take the piece or two to the shredder that needs shredding based on what you got, or you can shred it by hand. I have stood at a client's house who didn't have a shredder and went, oh, we're going to put this in the shred pile. No, we're not. We're going to shred it. And I've shredded it in pieces right there. Add the bills to the paid box. You know, these are things I have to be paid. And so you have a place you park your bills. Go park them there. The magazines to the reading area, and you're done. And no mail buildup ever again. The 1 day's mail, the one thing I'll add to this is the 1 day of mail that you get is the smallest amount of mail that you will ever have to deal with. The pile never gets smaller than today's mail, unless it's a holiday and the mail isn't coming. So every once in a while you get a reprieve because it's a national holiday and the mailman stays away. But that just really means that the next time he comes, he brings you 2 days of mail instead of 1. So the smallest pile you're ever going to have is the 1 day's mail. And so you might as well figure out a maintenance routine that allows you to address that every day or every other day. So here's your next 5-minute hack. 5 minutes to unpack your bags after a day out. Do you have any idea how many people pay me to open the bags of stuff that they bought at a store 6 months ago and put it away? Thankfully for my business, a lot of people do that. When you've been out acquiring new things, whether it's grocery or hardware, new shoes or jewelry, your shopping project isn't actually done until you come home and put it away. When your new must-have purchases come home, they have to come out of the bag and go into their new home in the house. Shoes go into the closet, jewelry goes on the jewelry rack, hardware goes into the garage, whatever. You have to process that bag at home because you're not done until you've unpacked it all. And I have found bags with groceries in them that never got unpacked. In a hoarding situation, we found infamously, I wasn't there this day, my friends remind me of it often. They found a bag with eggs in it that was sitting on a counter in a house that was hoarded. And when they touched the bag to remove it, of course, the eggs had been there for months and an egg exploded. And in the explosion, of course, they were gassed out of the apartment. And so the process of getting that bag of eggs into a trash bag and out of the apartment made more than one explode. And apparently it was quite toxic and miserable. And I was very glad I had to do something else that day and I was not available to be on the job site. I missed it. That's the extreme example. Like I have found a bag of onions that got thrown into the bottom of the pantry and then something got put in front of them and they got completely forgotten. And then they had started a garden in the back of the pantry. Like you have those kinds of things. And then you also have, I went to the store, I bought the thing, I put it in the closet, it got pushed behind the shoes and I forgot it was there. And so there was clothes that you had to have, or you went to the pharmacy and you got some, toiletries and you completely forgot they were there because they ended up on the floor or in the cabinet or in the corner and got shoved away. So bringing those bags home, bringing them out of the car and continuing long enough to unpack and put those things away. You do it with groceries because you're kind of forced to most of the time because, the groceries, the meat, the ice cream, it's melting if you don't get it in the fridge. So you're motivated by imminent loss when you deal with groceries. But other shopping trips don't have that incentive to keep you going. And so you have to be really conscious about bringing those bags home, unpacking, putting that stuff away, putting the bag in the trash, making your collection of plastic bags bigger, making your collection of paper bags bigger, putting away your reusable bags, whatever that part of the process is. Go through that process and you will stop creating piles of shopping that you've forgotten are there later. 5 minutes to pick up the trash around the house. This is a good one. Picking up trash is such an easy payoff as a declutter strategy. It's so easy to pick up today's trash. It's only a little bit. And you know exactly what it is because you've handled it today. And that makes the decision to trash it super easy. While it's fresh on your mind, while you know where it came from, pick up the trash and put it in a trash can. Once it's there, you never have to wonder if it's trash ever again. Don't pile the trash, put it in a trash can. If it makes you feel better, use a small grocery bag to gather the trash and take it to the outside can every day. Once it's in the can, it's out of your hair forever. And the reason I say this is because if you are somebody who opens packaging, tears off a piece of paper, and you discard it when in your mind it becomes unimportant, or it sort of clicked over as trash in your head and you just sort of let it go, you've added an extra step to the trash processing now, which is you have to go back and pick it up and look at it again before you can decide to trash it a second time. So if you can pick up the trash today, you haven't forgotten what it is or what that package came from or why it's important or not important. And it's super easy to go, yeah, open that package today, that's trash, because you still recognize it from handling it that day. When you come back 6 months later to that piece of trash, you're gonna have to pick it up. You're gonna have to look at the receipt. You're gonna have to look at the box and go, what is this? Oh yeah, that was when I opened the yada, yada, yada. You're gonna have to search through your memory and figure out, examine things and determine if it's trash again. And so you can circumvent that extra processing by picking up what you know is trash already today and take advantage of the fact that it's fresh in your mind and you don't have to worry about it otherwise. Some people deal with trash by handling it and like they let go of what is in the way and move on to the next thing. And so they sort of lay a trail around behind themselves. I'm somebody that picks it up as I make it. And so I will go and take something to the trash can over and over and over again as I'm doing something. I'll make 3 trips to the trash can as I generate it. But somebody else might leave a trail of stuff behind themselves for a while. That person is better served by making it one of their maintenance habits to go back with an intention and a bag in their hand and go around and retrace their steps and pick up the trash that they've generated. And it's not likely that you're going to change your natural habit of I've opened this package and I'm letting it go and I'm on to the thing that's in front of me and dealing with it. That seems like a major shift to change your focus and say, okay, I need to grab the trash now while I know it's there. But if you know that you're going to do it that way anyway, and you circle back later, it will allow you to pick it up and stay ahead of it. Even if you're a person that opens the package and immediately moves on to dealing, you can still keep up in your environment, is what I'm saying, if you circle back and make it a maintenance task to just go pick up the trash. 5 minutes to carry things up the stairs. This is one of my favorite ones. Every set of stairs I've ever seen in any house I go into has 2 piles. One pile sits on the second to the last step, and these are the things that are supposed to go upstairs. The other pile is at the landing at the top of the stairs, and these are things to go downstairs. Often there's a cute little 2-step basket, one of those baskets that has the bend in it, so it can sit on the stairs. It has a handle, and it's perched there holding things. Yet somehow the 2 piles just keep getting bigger, and they never make the travel in space to the opposite floor where the other pile from where they are to where they need to be. People keep adding to the piles, and then they go up the stairs empty-handed. Sometimes they stop to add to the piles on the way up or down the stairs. Like, why would you put something on the stairs pile and then walk down the stairs empty-handed? Like, right? So instead of piling it, never make a wasted trip. When you're headed upstairs, go with your hands full, pick up other things on the way back down. It'll be 2 or 3 things that you handle in 5 minutes when you get up there and they're off the stairs for good. If you have a big, massive pile of backlog, clearly you're ignoring it because you think it's going to take too much time. Well, of course it is. You created a pile that's going to take 2 hours to clear out. So just recognize that you go up and down the stairs all the time. You might as well go with 2 things every trip. And as you go upstairs, go put those 2 things away and then go about your business. And when you come back downstairs, take 2 things and come downstairs and put those away and go about your business. You'll end up spending 1.5 minutes putting things away. And eventually you will have made your 25 trips up and down the stairs during the day. And the pile will be small, you will have eliminated it. So don't just make the pile. Spend the 5 minutes to let the pile travel up or down the stairs and put it away as you go. And that 5 minutes of maintenance will mean that those piles on your stair will always be semi-permanent. and they won't be ever growing, and it won't be gathering dust, and you will have a clear stairway, which is important. We've talked about that too. 5 minutes to put a project away before you stop working. Somehow we never learn to manage projects by including the cleanup time. The elementary teacher has cleanup time in her classroom to put away the glitter and the glue when the project is complete. Why don't we do that when we leave second grade? Whatever project you're working on, stop 15 minutes before you run out of steam. And this is the important part. Use that last 15 minutes to throw out the trash, to pack up the project, put it in a project box if it's not incompleted, and put the box away. Then it's out of the way until you're ready to work on it again another day. Now, if it's a big project and, like you're sanding a piece of furniture, clearly you can't put it away, but you can put away your tools and close up the stain and pick up the trash that you've generated and sweep around it. You can reset that space. I think that the fallacy is that if it's not finished yet, you're going to get back to it. And so it needs to still be out. But getting back to it is not always an immediate process. So then you live with a collection of things that are in process. And if you can only do it on the weekends, that means on Saturday you work on it. And then you have to live with the chaos of a project until another Saturday is free. So cleaning up in between just allows your space to be more easily navigated and for you to find all the parts you need later and the brush not to be destroyed. And there's always parts of a project that will get lost, will get in the way, will be a problem if you don't stop, pull it together, clean it up, and get it out of your way for the moment. I talk about a project box because that in the craft environment, if you're working on a project and you're jumping from craft project to craft project, and you end up with all these things that are sitting around each other in mid process, you're going to lose parts of the craft. It's something that gets in the way. So boxing them up and putting all the components together so that you don't lose the pieces for that project is important. But the bigger version is true. Like I'm thinking about the cleanup after the winter storm. We camped in my living room and we made a big mess in there with all of our supplies. And so I had to keep spending 5 more minutes going to put away more of the hurricane supplies that we got out and go do the laundry again to clean up all the blankets that we sat in for 5 days and all that kind of stuff. So there's a reclamation process that needs to happen, and being able to do that in 5-minute increments and in between work sessions on a project means that you don't have to live with the chaos in between. And it doesn't matter, like maybe you have the intention to get back to it, but you don't have the capacity. It turns out that the electricity goes out, or it turns out that you have to work longer than you thought, and you're not going to be able to get back to it a day from now. It's going to be 10 days from now before you get back to it. And so in anticipation of all best laid plans don't always work out, you can prepare for that by putting it away as much as you can. Okay, I want to pause for a second and make sure that I'm not missing anything in terms of conversation. Is there any chat that we need to throw up, Karen?
Well, I like Anya has the German version of never going empty-handed. I don't know how your German accent is, but mine is horrible. Keinen Leerlauf machen, which she says translates as never going empty-handed.
Yay! Exactly.
Jane talks about she's been breaking down her Amazon boxes, one old box and one new box every week.
Ooh.
Keep herself under control with the volume of boxes that she's dealing with.
That's like, because then you're like, that's a simultaneous, you're working on the current incoming stuff, you're doing the maintenance, and you're kicking on the backlog at the same time. Good job. Excellent.
Connie commented that project cleanup is not meant for people with ADHD.
True statement. Sorry about that. And that's why circling back at the end is important. We also, if you're having fun, if you're doing a project that you think is fun, part of what's happening is that you're entertaining yourself, and you do that past your energy level and focus. Like you do it way beyond because you're having a good time, right? Like Kara's over there knitting, right? So you will keep knitting because you enjoy it, even though it's not, you're getting tired, right? And you craft past being tired. And so it's important to stop while you have the ability and the resources left to do a little cleaning. And yeah, you're taking some of your fun time away, but you're also making it easy to pick up the project again later when you're fresh.
Jane also had a comment on, she goes through the self-checkout and bags her own groceries and uses that opportunity to sort what she's buying as she's bagging it.
Oh, that's clever. I like that idea. Good job. So then it makes it easier to put it away, right? A different bag is going to go to a different place maybe. And this is the fridge part, and this is the freezer part, and this is the goes in the bathroom part. I like it. Good job. Good adaptation.
I don't know what the name is. They have their name listed as FCUCC Grand Ledge.
Okay.
I see her. I see her waving. She says she's been banned from putting things on the stairs now that their dog is blind. So it's a safety issue.
Right? You don't want to make the poor dog run into it. Poor little doggy. You can't make it hard for him.
Anya said my German pronunciation was pretty good.
Yay. I'm sure I would have chewed that one up and spit it out. So thank you for trying it for me.
And Marcy talks about a Buy Nothing group on Facebook and how you use boxes on the marketplace for people who are moving and reselling things. So Buy Nothing groups are really great.
I have heard of Buy Nothing groups. I haven't been in one, but I've heard people using them. And what a great idea to try to, and I guess part of it is there's an exchange happening, like people share things with each other. And so what a great idea. It's another way to get things out of the house, right?
Oh yeah. And to get them to someone who needs it and uses it. I know that's, can be an issue for some people that they want to move things out of their house, but they want it to go to someone who's going to use it. And those Buy Nothing groups are great for that.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot to say to you guys, Karen Baker is my friend, but she's also a professional organizer. That's why she's here today, because her business is Soho Productivity, right?
Soho Productivity Solutions.
Yes. And she typically works with people in offices and business settings. She does small business productivity organizing. So that's her bailiwick, but she's also been on some jobs with me, unpacking. So she is in Houston too. And she is pinch hitting as a professional today, a professional / tech person. Okay. I'm going to jump back into our material today here. The next 5-minute hack is 5 minutes to handle today's clothes. I once had a client couple who refused to do the laundry. So they were young people. Let me just say that they were very young. They hadn't been married very long. I'm sure they were in their 20s. They just kept buying new clothes when they ran out. So the problem is that today's new clothes are tonight's laundry, and you're not in college anymore. You can't let it pile up for weeks and take it home to mom to wash. You only wear one outfit at a time, so it's easy to deal with it when you take it off. Either it goes in the closet or the drawer, or it goes into the laundry hamper. When the hamper has a full load, you wash it. One small load is easier to deal with than 5 weeks of dirty clothes. They literally had clothes, like I can see this in my mind's eye right now. There was clothes, the closet was completely full of hanging clothes. There was clothes on the floor. There was 4 laundry baskets that had clothes in them. There was a mountain of clothing along the bedroom wall. There was clothes in the dining room, down the living room. Like they just kept making a new pile of clothes, and they would not do the laundry. Like, what is wrong with you people? At some point, and the thing about it was they wanted to have a child. They were talking about having a child. And I'm like, it's only going to exponentially explode when there's a baby to clean up behind, right? Like we had this whole conversation about doing the laundry, and neither one of them wanted to do it. And it was a chore. And it's like, well, yeah, right now you've got about 2,000 pieces of clothes you need to wash. that's a problem, but ongoing, it's going to be an issue. So I helped them that day. I gave them a plan for rotating the laundry. Like, one of them was on a day shift and one of them was on a night shift. And so I gave them a plan about put it in, and then somebody comes home and takes it out and puts it in the dryer. And then somebody comes home and puts it up, and like they could split it up in stages. And then of course I did not see them ever again. So I don't know whether they took my advice or whether they're now drowned in their clothes somewhere. But this is a thing that people come home, and I know that they complain about their spouses throw the stuff somewhere, like whatever works for you to manage the clothes, but it's not going to be any easier if you ignore it, take it off and hang it back up in the I'm going to wear this again hook, or take them off and go put them in the hamper. It's like it's so easy to do. You're going to put your pajamas or your at-home clothes on anyway. Just take the 5 minutes. It makes it easier when you get to wash day. It also makes it apparent when your hamper gets full that it's time to go do the laundry. Like that's your visual cue. When the hamper reaches the top, it's time to go do a load. And whether that takes 24 hours or a week, my hamper was double high, more than normal, because we couldn't run the laundry. I couldn't use the washer for a week. And, we're still cleaning it. We're still catching up on all of the blankets and towels I used to cover up all my greenery outside in the front. But in a typical situation, you fill it up, you go do a load or two, and you hang it up. And every mom that has had children, every mother that's been in charge of a house knows that when you have a spouse and children generating laundry, you're going to be doing laundry every day of your life until they take over their own laundry. Like laundry is a requirement of life. And if you're a mom, you're in the worst possible situation. You have the most laundry to do. And I'm sorry for you. And the only way you can deal with it is to keep the machine running. And so if you don't have that situation and you're only managing yourself, then when the hamper is full, make it a small hamper so you can carry it. And when the hamper's full, go do your laundry. That's what I'm saying. And every day, 5 minutes to hang up or put in the hamper what you wore today. And that will keep you from creating those. My friend Lisa Giesler just did a thing about the chair drobe, which is basically the chair with all the wardrobe on it. And so that is a perfect explanation of throwing all of your dirty stuff onto the chair, or alternatively, throwing the things out of the dryer onto the chair in a big pile and then ignoring them and not putting them away. So we want to avoid both of those situations. And this is your 5 minutes to deal. Okay, 5 minutes to load or unload the dishes. A dishwasher beats hand washing the dishes any day. So take the time to load the few dishes you use with your meal into the dishwasher. Spend 5 minutes now, and those dishes in the sink can be gone every night. If everyone does their own dishes, no one has to spend more than 5 minutes. And you can unload the dishes in 5 minute intervals as well. Empty the silverware bucket and walk away. Next time you come into the kitchen, you can pull out the plates or the glasses. You do enough 5 minute intervals and then dishwasher is empty again. I hear from people a lot, I hate loading the dishwasher. I hate unloading the dishwasher. Yeah, but you also hate washing them by hand. So pick your poison, first of all. One of those is going to be less annoying than the other. If you hate the dishwasher that much, or you hate unloading the dishwasher that much, try hand washing for a week and see how much you suddenly like the dishwasher better. I find that it's one of those chores that you like to unload it and you hate to load it, or vice versa. Like you don't mind one and you really are annoyed by the other, or you just hate the whole process in general. Yeah, keeping up with dishes is a problem. And again, you eat every day, you're going to make more dishes every day. I'm sorry, I can't help you with that. That is, unless you want to stop eating, this is going to be a problem for you. So figuring out a way to deal with that and have that be part of your life. I do the unload the dishwasher thing in commercials at night. I will walk by and put the glasses up, and I go in for a kitchen snack, and then I put the silverware away. I mean, you can do it in stages if you want. There's no rule. But if you just clock yourself one day stand there and force yourself to unload and put the dishes away, you'll realize that you can do it in 2.5 minutes. You can do it in 90 seconds. You can do it in 4 minutes, depending on how full the dishwasher is. But it's really something that is super easy in terms of time. You just have to get over your emotional, oh, I don't really want to deal with the dishes. Yeah. And this is one of those things where, like cleaning the toilet, like brushing your teeth, if you want to stay on top of it and you want that maintenance to be happening all the time, you actually do have to do it every day. You can't put it off for a week and then come back and deal with a week's worth. And the pile of dishes that you deal with today is the smallest pile you're ever going to have, right? Unless you go to paper everything and you start throwing out everything, then, that's a whole nother conversation. Maintenance with the dishwasher, maintenance with your cleaning out the kitchen when you're done eating every day is a maintenance you have to deal with. And so 5 minutes to unload the dishwasher, 5 minutes to take donations to the car. I haul lots of donation piles that have been sitting there for years out of people's houses. Don't make the Tower of Mount Doom of donations before you load the car and drop off something. It's much quicker to load 2 bags. And the next time you see a Goodwill drop-off location, you can swing in and let the staff take them out of your car. 5 minutes into your car, 5 minutes out of your car. There's no need to make it a huge project or wait until you found every donation in the house. You can donate it all in multiple 5-minute trips, and it still will all go out of the house. I think people get sort of fixated on making the donation pile so that I only have to make one trip. But making one trip means that you have to wait to collect it all. And it's a massive pile by then. And then it takes an hour to get it all in the car. And then you probably can't get all in the car anyway. So this is one of those things where repetitive action makes the task less onerous. It makes it less irritating. Grab a bag or 2, go put it in the car. You're going to go out and do something. You're going to go to get groceries. You're going to go out. If it wasn't the pandemic, you'd be going to see your friends, and you're going to drive around and you're going to go buy a Goodwill at some point, and you can offload or whatever your charity of choice is. So I don't know why people think let's do donations. Let me make a big box. So it's like, after you fill the big box, who's going to lift it? How are you going to get that big box in your car? So you really want to make it in transportable volumes that you can actually lift and get into the car and not have a problem. So think of it as a 5-minute trip to take a couple of little bags and put them in the car for donation. And maybe you do that 2 or 3 times. And by the time you go by the Goodwill, you've got 5 or 6 little bags in the car to donate. Doesn't matter. All works. Okay. How are we doing out there?
We got some questions and comments. Kathy had a good idea about how to sell items, clothing items, I guess, that's easy. $25 to $100 items. That's easy. She thought about the marketplace.
There is some complication factor for all of them. I don't know if easy exists. Any kind of online selling requires that you go set up an account. You take pictures, you put things on there, you make descriptions. If you do it in Nextdoor, you're still if you want somebody to buy it, you still got to put a picture up. You're going to have to interact with customers. Like, there's some amount of interaction that has to take place in order for you to create a store or create an opportunity for somebody to buy something that you own. And so easy, I think, is a tall order. I think casual is a better order. Like, if you do it on Nextdoor, it's probably more casual than if you do it on, and Facebook Marketplace is pretty casual. If you're doing it on a clothing website like The Real or something like that, where it's a platform that's designed for selling clothing, then there might be a little bit more that you have to do. It might be a little bit more complicated. You can get by with Facebook Marketplace and doing things on Nextdoor with being super casual and here's one picture and let's see. And the results will reflect that as well. You may not get it in front of the best audience. You may not get a good price for it. So I guess that's what I have to say about that.
We have a couple of stories about how people handle doing laundry, 2 that I thought were interesting because I feel like they're kind of opposite. Anita says that she knew a guy whose wife left him He moved back in with his mother with 105 sets of underwear for the mom to wash.
Oh, hell no.
And then contrast that with, she had the story about her sister-in-law who has her children who each have their own laundry basket and a color for their own towels, and they're taught to do their own laundry. So
see, that is the best thing ever.
So you got both ends there.
Laundry is not rocket science. So teaching your kids to do laundry is a brilliant thing, because you do not want them to show up at college or move into their first apartment and go, I don't know how to get my underwear clean. And if you leave it to a boy, then he'll just like keep wearing them. Like he won't care. He'll just keep wearing them. So teaching your kids to do laundry is an important thing.
Let's see. We also have people talking about the dishes. Joyce says, I do the dishwasher in the morning while my coffee is brewing.
Oh, that's a good idea. You got to wait for the coffee anyway, and you know you're desperate and you're not leaving the kitchen while that's going on. That's a brilliant idea. And you know, it's a race. How much can you get done before the coffee is done? That's a great idea. Yay, I love it.
April says she reduced the amount of dishes that she has because she doesn't have a dishwasher. So she kind of took the tact of, we're just going to have fewer dishes
and wash them, right?
Some people are saying that their donation places, they're waiting for them to reopen. So they're kind of building up a stack.
That is a problem. And some places are having some super limited hours, or they're dropping off by appointment and things like that. So you may have to give them a ring and say, are you doing something special right now? Or find an alternative that is open for the few months while you wait for your favorite charity to come back. You just want to sort of, I don't want you to get backed up with stuff with a ton of stuff in the house that you want to donate while you're waiting for another 6 months for something, your favorite charity to open back up. So you might explore alternative choice so that you can let a few things go out the door and not get drowned.
Rowan mentions that Goodwill's doing drive up, drop off at some locations. So
yeah, they're doing that around the corner near my house as well. And basically the staff person sort of stays inside until you sit it out next to the door. And then when you go back in the car, they come out and get it. And so you'll have to get out of the car instead of getting help, but at least it's gone. At least you're letting it go that way, right? Let's do 5 minutes to clear out your purse or wallet. We carry our purses and wallets all the time. It's the portable bag of stuff that we all need so desperately to stay with us. And because we have it with us, we use it as the catch-all / trash can that we carry around with us all the time. All those receipts we get every time we buy something, the flyer we saw, the samples that someone offered. It's not infinite in size, however, and pretty soon we're carrying around some serious dead weight. I don't know about you, but every once in a while I'll go weigh my purse and be like, really? Why is this so heavy? Spending 5 minutes digging the trash out of your purse will help you see how much easier it is to carry. Pull out everything that you've stuffed in there, extra makeup, business cards, cough drops, used Kleenex, receipts, and get it down to the must-have items again. I think women are just trained to have a bag of stuff with them all the time. And frankly, we just keep adding. We don't subtract well. Oh, I want to use this lipstick today, and it goes in the purse. And then the next day you put another lipstick in, and the next day you put another lipstick in. And then you're trying to go, what happened to that lipstick? Oh, it's already swimming in the bottom of the bag. We get change and receipts when we buy something, and that goes in the bottom of the purse. And people hand us stuff, and you load it up because you think you need these 3 things because you're going to go meet with your friend and do XYZ. And then you come home and you don't take those things back out of the purse. Or you travel and you load stuff in that you only use when you travel, and then you forget to take them back out when you come home. I have cleaned out a lot of purses in my day, and particularly when I go into people's closets to start working in their closets, and I'll be gathering up purses, and I invariably find purses on the floor or a pile of purse contents on the floor where people have switched out their purse and not dealt with the contents because they were getting dressed or going to work or whatever. And so they were busy. It's amazing how much trash I find when I start clearing out the purses. We just use it as our walking trash can. And so you can help yourself out by taking a pause, dumping all that stuff out, throwing all the trash away at once. If you're not going to do it as you go, throw it all away at once, put all the makeup back in your makeup drawer, whatever else goes in there, all the extra, oh, I forgot sunscreen and I left the sunscreen in the bottom of the thing. Take all that stuff out and refill your purse, and it'll be infinitely lighter when you get done. You'll be shocked by how much the cumulative trash actually weighed, and your purse will be clean again. The other thing about purses is when I go to dump them out, invariably dirt falls out. Like I dump them over and there's like sand or grit or dirt falling out of the purse. And I don't understand. None of us are putting dirt in our purse. So how does the dirt get in there? I don't get it, but it's always there. So this is another thing to go dump out your purse and clear it out. One more, and then I'm going to go to the homework because I don't want to run out of time here. So the last one we're going to cover today is 5 minutes to clean out the car. Another place that Anita just spit at me. That was funny. Another place that we treat like a trash can is the car. Why is that? We have to sit in it. We ask our friends to sit in it. It's such a small space and so easy to clean up. So when you come home every night, spend 5 minutes picking up any trash that you've accumulated over the day's driving. This is a perfect excuse for those plastic grocery bags, right? Go grab a plastic grocery bag and stuff it in the side of the door. And then when you get to the end of the day, pull it out, fill up the trash that you've got in the car, and you can take it in with you and throw it in the trash can. Why wait until it's a mountain? This is a big one for most people because we eat in the car. If the receipts don't end up in the purse, they end up in the car. Like this is the secondary trash can in motion, just like the purse. And so the same things that end up in the purse end up in the car. And it's one of those places where if you leave it for a week, then you're drowning in trash. And so if you can just pause when you get out of the car every night, grab, even if you don't get 100% of it, you're still getting most of it out. And then you stay ahead of having a disaster in the car. I have one story about that. I once had a person in a speaking engagement talk about her car, and it was completely stuffed. I mean, she described it as, up to the windows full of trash, like I'm surrounded by trash 100%. And I don't clean it because my dad used to give me a hard time about it. And, I resist cleaning it because of my dad's response, except that she was in her 60s and her dad was long deceased. And she didn't still need to be having that argument with her dad anymore. Like she was the only one suffering from the point she was trying to make still all these years later to her deceased dad. So I have seen some nasty ass cars, pardon my French. I have seen some really nasty cars, and you're the one that's in there breathing that air, and you're the one that's sitting in that mess. So be kind to yourself and clean it out. That's what I'm saying about that. Okay. So let's talk about the weekly tittle today. And this is going to explain my background finally. The title of our weekly tittle is Spoiled Pets and Clutter. This week is inspired by Jane in Florida, who wrote me an email, and I have to read it to you. It's very hilarious. Jane wrote, I have just one dog, Angel, a Chihuahua mix, but she has 4 beds in my bedroom, 1 in the living room, 1 under the dining room table, and 2 stored in the closet. I want to not allow her so much floor space, but emotionally, she looks so cute when she sleeps on the different beds. Each bed is different. Some she stretches out fully, some she curls up. It all depends on her mood. I give in and think, I can just walk around that bed. I don't want to disturb her. Obviously, I am not the alpha dog. That is for sure. As a pet owner, I totally understand. And I've decluttered a lot of pet stuff in my day. So in honor of Angel the Chihuahua, those of you with pets should tackle your pet's possessions. It's time to pass on the old collars, the old beds, the forgotten toys, the extra food dishes, the rejected food. I know that you've got food in your pantry that you tried to get them to eat and they didn't want to eat. You have some stuff, you've stuffed things in kitchen cabinets. You probably got some from an animal that's passed away too. Often I declutter the possessions of an animal that has that's already died. And so you need to find those stashes, evaluate their belongings, and donate the excess to a pet shelter who will put it all to immediate use, particularly the food. But of course, any kind of collar, clothing, leash, whatever, you can throw it in the laundry and wash it all so it's not completely covered in pet hair and it's clean enough. You know, a dog doesn't care that much, right? Give it a once wash and send it on its way. Okay. So have I answered all the questions today? I want to make sure that we're in good shape.
We did have a question about donating. Is there a women's shelter in Houston that accepts makeup?
The store is called the Cottage Shop. It's at the corner of Westheimer and Montrose, sort of back behind the businesses that are there. They have a resale store called the Cottage Shop, and I do donate makeup to them. I don't know how they make a decision between if they offer any of it for sale at the shop or if they just reroute it to the shelter itself. I would not donate liquid things unless it hasn't been opened. I wouldn't donate, but you can probably get away with some used things and pass them on and let them edit them for themselves. But most of us have a lot of unopened makeup for some reason. We all have things that we think we're going to try. Maybe we try it once and then we don't like it, or we buy stuff, inherit stuff, get it for gifts at Christmas, whatever, and then we don't use it all. So great idea. They can certainly pass it on. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the shelter itself.
The Women's Home.
Thank you. The Women's Home. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, the Women's Home is the shelter. The Cottage Shop is their resale store. And so you can take it to the Cottage Shop and donate it. They're receiving things right now 2 days a week at some afternoon hours. So you have to go on their website or call them and find out exactly when it's okay to drop off.
And we have another question from Tammy about how to decide what to put in your purse when you're minimizing the amount of stuff you carry.
Well, that's a good question. So I think we sort of err on the side of caution and add more. So I would experiment with the most basic things and then see if you come up short one day. You need forms of ID and money. We used to all have to carry our checkbooks, but we don't really anymore. We have lots of options for that now. There's all sorts of alternative forms of payment, so you don't really have to carry your checkbook anymore. If you like having makeup, I would really just try for the basics. Like if you are somebody that puts on a whole big face every day, I wouldn't carry all that stuff in your purse, but maybe you want to have a powder and a lipstick to refresh during the day. Makeup is heavy. So when you start adding makeup pieces, you start adding weight really quickly. So be very judicious about that. There's a few other things. I'm trying to think of what's in my purse. I have a fan, a hand fan, because, menopause chick, it's always too hot for me. And there's a few other things, but I would try with the smallest amount of things possible and add them as you fall short. Hand sanitizer right now is a good one because everybody needs hand sanitizer, and a Kleenex. But think of it as you don't want the full size portion. You want to aim for travel size things. And maybe you're not trying to put a whole Kleenex box in. Maybe you're just trying to put a little thin, flat Kleenex pack in your purse. So you just want to get the smallest version, the smallest quantity to add into the purse so you're not making it too heavy. And I know some of you have had this experience where you're starting to have shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, and the doctor tells you your purse is too heavy. Stop carrying that purse. So aim towards, think of your back health, think of your neck health, and aim for the lightest weight possible. Sometimes the purses themselves, they have big, heavy chains on them. They have a lot of metal involved. And so if you're struggling with weight and not having the purse be too heavy, start with the purse itself and find one that has less metal components in it so that it's so heavy in its empty state before you start adding things into it. The other thing is that be careful about the coins that you carry. We sort of throw coins in the bottom, and you're basically adding more metal into your purse by adding all the coins in. So when you do the 5 minutes to clean out your purse, make sure you pull all that change out and gather it somewhere make a bucket, leave yourself with a little coin purse that isn't bulging fat. You want to leave yourself with a few coins and pull the rest into your vacation bucket, or go dump them out at the coin star when you're near the grocery store. Filter that coin collection in the bottom of the purse, because cumulatively it will really add weight quickly. It's all metal, right? So you're just adding weight. What else is out there, Karen?
Linda had a question about filing, if you have time to answer it.
Sure. We can talk about filing.
Yeah, I'm an independent contractor, and I have a whole file drawer of different categories. And one person had suggested I do it all alphabetically, and now it just looks more confusing to me. Like I would trying to figure out what big categories, like I might have one clients, one bank. Then I've got something for the Secretary of State's office and for the IRS. So what would you suggest that might be the easiest for me when I look in that drawer, that I'm not all confused?
Right. So I think that you have to think in bigger categories. So, and Karen, you can jump in with this too, because clearly this is your expertise. But you need to have personal files and business files. So those are two big buckets that you need to separate first.
Yeah.
Then in the business files, you want to have client files and administration files. Then in the personal side, you're going to have, and instead of bank, I would have financial, because you're going to have banks and investment, and there's going to be other financial records that you're going to want to keep. And in another big bucket in personal is house. One of them is medical.
On the personal, I think I'm pretty much set, but it's the financial drawer.
Business.
I'm confused. I'm just confused because it just looks with the alphabetical that there's almost no categories.
So what's in the financial drawer?
I have my business bank account. I have something for the IRS with the tax ID number. I have the Secretary of State folder with everything about naming the business and all that. And then I might have a current client, or a client that is only every so often. And, so if I keep that with the current clients, they might be a lot of big folders. So I don't want to keep that with the current, and I don't know how to do that otherwise. And then I have something for a computer backup service, and for my email address for the business. And
sure. Okay, so Carrie, do you want to jump in here? Do you have can you throw out some stuff here? It sounds like I have a collection of categories in my head, but go.
Yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily have to file alphabetically. That tends to be the most common. But you can file, things by categories easily. You can, it sort of seems like you've got things in maybe buckets that don't resonate with you.
Yeah.
So I think really you need to probably think about doing it categorically, and how you think about these categories, things that are related in your mind, not necessarily, what someone else might tell you. This is a category, that's a category. Things that you work on together, that you think of together, that you need together, can go in the same bucket.
And I think it's important to separate the client files from your business records. So how you deal with your client stuff doesn't have anything to do with your taxes or Secretary of State or banking. So separate those out. One pile is your business records and one pile is your client records. And then separate the clients. I would subset the clients between past clients in a drawer, current clients in a drawer, so that you're only dealing with the current client records together.
Okay.
And all clients become past clients eventually, right? And so you can have a history of old clients that are alphabetized as past clients in a file drawer, but then you don't want them crowding up the collection of current client folders you're working with. So I would separate those out, because that active collection is going to be smaller than the totality of all your clients from the beginning, right?
Yes.
And I wouldn't cross contaminate clients from business records either.
What do you mean by that?
Don't put them together. Don't alphabetize your clients in with all those other folders.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know.
Make those separate categories.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because alphabetizing it now, I look at it and my mind is so confused. It just looks overwhelming. It looks like a million different things to look through now.
Right. So I think that's, yeah. I mean, I think your instinct about finding some categories is a good one, because that's how you sort of narrow down your focus in steps.
Yeah.
And yeah, I hear you.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking the question. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. So
12 o'clock.
it's 12 o'clock. So I have to do all the other ed things. Okay, so I want to remind our viewers and listeners that our YouTube channel contains more than 100 videos on a wide variety of organizing topics. And you can go to cfhou.com/YouTube. And of course, now I have to be Ed and me. So hold on. cfhou.com/YouTube. Okay. You can subscribe to the channel on YouTube and then click the bell icon next to the subscribe button if you'd like to get notifications whenever we post new content. I want to remind everyone that we'll be back for our next webcast on Tuesday, March the 9th, 2021 at noon, U.S. Central Time, live in Zoom and streaming on Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube, then we'd love for you to join us live. So to receive notifications about upcoming events, we invite you to join the meetup group, cfhou.com/meetup. You can also follow us on Facebook by going to the Facebook page, cfhou.com/Facebook. And you can always find us on our website at clutterfairyhouston.com. Thanks everybody for joining us. We appreciate it. Thank you to Karen for subbing in and being a substitute tech / question guru. We appreciate you. And thanks for living through me doing this by myself with Karen. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.